You don't judge a man by his best day, you judge him by his worst day. And, buddy, we're doing it. Welcome to the Strong Casuals podcast. My name is Ben. I'm here with Anthony and the Chord King, Eric.
What's up?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We should just play that.
It's been the appropriate time.
Yeah, no, we're back earlier than this
We're
one.
exhausted after each ep, dude. We need 2 to 3 weeks off.
It is, yeah.
And if you have a problem with that, I don't care.
Yeah, well, they probably don't.
You are paying my bills, everybody listening,
Yeah.
and that's fine, okay? But I can still get by without you guys.
Yeah. I got some other things we need to talk about. But
okay.
I think it's probably kind of like after cows give birth, they can have this stuff called milk fever.
Yeah.
Where apparently they're so depleted of calcium that they can't contract their muscles. Don't fact check this. And so the way that you get them back up is just by giving them a big old shot of calcium. Because if you're not all familiar, muscle contraction is mainly a function of the release of calcium.
What if I just dump 2 to 3 gallons of milk on them?
It'd be fun. I don't know if it would get them up though.
They don't soak it in through their skin.
I do that to myself.
They don't soak it in through their skin?
They don't. They don't absorb the calcium.
That's crazy.
So basically every episode we all get milk fever and we all have to take milk baths.
It's true.
To eventually get enough calcium back so we can function.
That's why they do those.
And let's just say we accidentally used skim.
Oh.
And so it took us a little longer to get that calcium. We've gone down a road.
You heard of the World's Strongest Man?
Yeah,
or?
so World's Strongest Man 2025 happened 17 and a half years ago.
Yeah, dude. It happened 5/18, okay?
Yeah.
And today's 6'4", if you guys are wondering.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about my height.
I'm 6'4".
No.
But so just like everybody else, we had to go online and watch refresh pages for. I think Barbend had a good updated sequence. They definitely didn't have the cool graphic gooey situation as they had last year.
Yeah, it was a little harder to look to go through each group. Was kind of annoying. But once again, like I said, Eddie was giving the update every night or every day post.
Yeah, we relied a lot on Eddie, as we always do.
Yeah, of course. The guy's a content. He just puts it out.
I do feel like and we haven't obviously seen the broadcast yet,
right?
Because it's not released until 2075.
Yeah, I think 2027.
But I feel like last year had all that cool pixelated stuff, and it was
their
it had
theme.
It had a theme. It was cool, and all the announcers were wearing those cool pixelated shirts and they matched and stuff.
Right.
And then this year was yep, go do the thing.
We're on a street.
Go.
I think this is on a public street.
Yeah. And I mean, they obviously did a whole lot of other things great. I think the making the qualifiers count is amazing.
Yeah. It puts obviously every athlete through a lot more, work, but it's kind of, what are we doing here? This is World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
Who can do it all and come out on top?
Well, and it made every day important.
Yes.
It wasn't like the past years where the qualifiers are just kind of a thing we have to get through.
No skim milking by.
Exactly. This was whole milking.
Dude.
Vitamin D.
Yeah. Yes, dude.
Yes. Like the GOMAD diet. You guys ever heard of GOMAD?
You've brought this up before. You want us to do the GOMAD diet?
Yeah, I want to do a gallon of milk a day. Yes. I think we should do stream live. We each have to down a gallon of milk.
I was going to say, can it be chocolate or strawberry?
Chocolate, but we're not animals.
What?
Strawberry milk was made in some deep, dark basement by...
It's the best kind.
Oh,
it's pink.
Disgusting.
Welcome to the Bloated Podcast with Ben and Anthony and Eric. Yeah, that would be so sick on that podcast.
Welcome to Milk Shits 20. Okay, so I thought that was really cool. It they actually had to compete.
Yeah,
I thought we saw a lot of guys. I think it was cool because it forced. It showed the events that some guys were really good at. They might not be overall winners, but they did really well in their events, and that was fun. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
And it also made the guys on top after actually have to work. There's no rest day. That's ready, set, do the thing.
Because that is the interesting thing is that a lot of the events, there's always somebody definitively better, and a lot of the time it wasn't guys in the top 5 race. Yeah. Whether it was Lucas Hatton or Eddie Williams or a bunch of these guys who are just so good at their specific thing. That it did help them in the points because it actually mattered.
Right.
And then it took points away from the people who are still fighting for the top when they want to get every point they can.
Mm-hmm. I think it was interesting that if you finish Like depending on where you finish in your group depends on because it makes like qualifiers an event.
Yeah.
Which I feel like whatever. I think it's a step in the right direction. But it did make those top guys like it made every point matter.
Yes.
Which is I'm just repeating what you just said, but
the squeeze is worth the juice. Okay.
that's what I always say.
Or the juice is worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying?
I have that tattooed on my lower back.
I think that's an anagram.
It is
Twice.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it really every single event mattered from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to day 4 to I think it
5,
ended at 4,
6,
7, 12.
8, 9.
We'll never know
Yep.
until November or August or whatever the hell.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that enough. I don't feel like people understand. And the
Yeah.
one comment on the last video was like, "Chill out, dudes. Just wait a couple months and watch it." And I was, I felt that. I was like,
I
"All
do
right,
get
dude.
that,
Like,
and
we
do.
We feel it. We feel it.
You know why? Because we have to. There's no real choice to it. So it's like I obviously have to, but people complain about a lot of things that they have choices, and so I'm going to continue to complain about it.
That's very true.
People
I
complain
have
when
the
they
right to complain.
Exactly. I do have the right to complain, but how do you think like those before the final days? What was surprising to you? Do you think it kind of played out a little bit like we thought it was going to?
I thought it was. I liked the events. I thought the events were like well thought out.
Yes.
I thought like having some sort of loading race is cool because it gives a lot of those guys who are quick on their feet
Yes.
a better chance at getting some points. It's not all static lift stuff. I mean, deadlift is classic. It's fun to do. I think it was an 18 inches off the ground. So it was like, I mean, it was still a deadlift, but it was cool to watch guys get as many as they could. It was somewhat expected, the guys that came out on top.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to watch. I thought having like an overhead medley that's not just like, that was like having some weird, not that one. That was pretty standard. But the stone medley at the end was really cool.
Yeah.
When it was like weird stuff and
I like the Titans
Not-
toss too.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like literally like a. Which one was the Titans toss? Was this a seconds?
it was just it was just how many bags I got over.
Oh, that's right.
I honestly thought that was one of the, not to be contrary, but I honestly kind of thought that was kind of boring.
Did
I
you?
usually like tosses, but I think they need
We didn't even see it. What did you watch?
Well, I spliced together as much coverage as
Yeah.
I can. But it's like, I feel
I'm sure
like,
Big Laws was like showing
but
some.
like sometimes they do something fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
And like it was just a freaking catwalk bar. And then they
Yeah.
would toss them or not, whatever those like 3 tube
Yeah.
electric bars, whatever. I
God
don't
knows
know.
what those are.
I know, at least I'm relatively confident that a lot of athletes hate the Hercules hold.
Right.
But when I like think back to like watching World's Strongest Man in like the 90s
That's
with my
all
dad,
you can remember.
like that is like burned into your brain.
It's literally one of the only things that, besides the Atlas stones, the Hercules hold is like, oh, that's at every strongest man. Every
Yeah.
single one. Why? I don't know. They're holding some columns with their entire
What?
body. It's like, it's wild.
Yeah. And I think it has this like visceral.
Yes.
Again, we talk about this all the time. I think I say that at least 7 times an episode.
People know you love the Hercules hold, and they
But-
better know.
It looks painful.
Yeah. But I mean, again, we're always trying to like bridge this gap between like trying to explain to the viewer how hard this is.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Hercules hold is one thing where like you could know nothing about weightlifting or like
People-
strongman and you watch it and go,
People can see
Damn.
mental anguish and physical pain on somebody's face.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's what we love.
yeah.
I don't know why. That's once again, that's a primal thing. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, sadism.
Yeah. I mean,
Schadenfreude.
right.
I mean, it's not nobody dies.
Do they?
Ever. I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, I think the Hercules hold is one of those things where people just look at it and they go, that sucks.
Right.
And I can appreciate that sucks.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I mean, so it's fun, and it's cool to watch, but I know I've like many athletes have talked about how they hate it.
Yes.
With a passion because it's just pain. And I mean, watching the little bit of Rayno's Hercules hold that I was able to see, I mean, dude is a beast. And then you're like, I can't remember who went first, but then Eddie gets up there and just destroys everything.
I know. I don't remember the order that it went.
That doesn't surprise me at all, though, because Eddie has like his grip is excellent.
Yeah.
When in the past, when you've seen him do things like Dinny Stones, or you've seen him do anything where it's like rings, and he's done well. Was it last year at the Worlds when he did the it was it wasn't the Dinny Stones, but it was like the renamed stones.
Yeah, whatever those.
It was stones
were.
and rings.
Yeah.
And he like flew down and back.
Yeah, there's, like I said, just specific events that dudes are just like built to do. Anthropomorphically, they're like, this is my thing, and I am going to continue to do this thing.
Yeah, and Eddie's a good dude.
I know.
We don't have to get into that yet.
Well,
But Eddie's a good dude.
we already talked about Eddie on stage, okay? We don't need to get back into it, okay? We love Eddie to death. I'll watch you sing songs on the sideline any day.
Oh yeah, dude.
Any day.
Though
God, Rayno.
not to like, I don't know, bring this step back to a place, but I was kind of hoping that Lucas Hatton would have he performed well, but coming out of the Arnolds,
Can you scroll down, Eric, on this? Find Lucas Hatton.
I think coming out of the Arnolds,
Right there.
we were all, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a hole.
Okay, so we'll talk about him on day one. So he got last in the loading race.
I mean, that
Which
doesn't
makes sense. You look at
Yeah.
him, he doesn't. So I think a lot of the deadlift, I think a lot of people underestimated how many people were only going to get those 7 reps.
yeah, and
So many, I think like 10 people got 7 reps or something crazy like that out of all the groups.
yeah, and honestly, like Rayno just blowing that out again.
Yes.
is also like that's maybe. I think maybe if he hadn't been in a group with, well, we don't want to play that game, but if he hadn't been in a group with Rayno, maybe whatever. But
Nobody but Patty and Rayno got 8. And granted, everybody thought that's because I think a lot of people thought 7 reps was going to be perfectly fine. And so when it's not perfectly fine, you split all those points so much more, and so you get nothing.
yeah,
You know, it's like
no, yeah, I mean. It's wild how basically 2 events just sunk his ship.
Yeah.
I mean, if he could have placed a little bit better in the loading, and if he could have placed a little bit better in the stone medley, he probably would have been up there.
right. He's middle of the road in the overhead medley, Titans toss.
Well, he won the overhead medley.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 5 points was the most.
Which is not surprising because there's the YouTube video of him training with Martins in his gym, and they're doing like overhead cleans and stuff. Like,
Yes, I
dude
remember.
has
That's his
overhead
thing.
strength. He has overhead strength.
Then he gets 3 points on the Titans toss and 2 points on stone medley. Yeah, so
I think Titans toss is a hard. I don't know, but I feel like it's a hard event for people who are built like Lucas.
yeah, it's like you kind of. I mean, it's about explosivity, but and there is something there, but it's also about length and fucking how long is your lever to get those things. You know what I'm saying? Length.
Yeah, like how long are your arms?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, are you a trebuchet or
Right.
are you
Catapult.
a scorpion?
Let's go. A ballista.
Yeah, whatever.
Pick your poison.
What special unit are you in?
So yeah, I
Age of
mean,
Empires 2?
1 and 2 days.
Yeah.
1 and 2 kind of they kind of sunk Lucas's ship. Did he end up making it to finals? I don't even remember.
No.
Back up, Eric. Yeah, he didn't
No,
because
I
of
mean,
that.
he placed third in his group, which
That's
is, I mean,
right.
he still did well, and I think I'm not saying that he's done. Like, this is
No.
amazing. He's come out of the Arnolds, and everyone's like, "Holy wow, look at you, guy!" And then, I mean, this is still a good showing by him, and he's going to do great things. And he's, a good dude.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you love Lucas Hatton, and I do too. He's a good guy. Until we have a reason to hate him, we love him. Okay?
It's like the law thing, innocent until proven guilty. Right?
Dude. We're easily swayed. You just got to give us one thing, and
We are easily swayed. All you have to do is not cheat on your wife.
yeah, dude. Just
We are setting the bar pretty
be
high
entertaining.
here.
Be a little bit entertaining because we
Yeah.
hold entertainment value at a higher standard because we're commoner peasants, but we like it. Okay.
I prefer plebeian.
Yeah. Well,
But-
we'd be the guys in the jousting stands watching and waiting for death. I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's us.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we're
we'd have a couple beers.
I mean, well, yeah, the cheapest of beer. But that's what we
Yeah.
want. We want gladiator battles. I want you to
And
be
those aren't
somebody
legal anymore.
Right. I want you to be somebody I can remember. I want
though.
you to just be.
Yeah, who knows what
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows what the future holds, man. I don't know.
And it is kind of crazy that just being a decent human being is incredibly hard to come by these days. And so if you can do that,
Right.
you're already winning.
Well, we can get into that.
So yeah, the final days, going into the final day, I mean, Luke, Rayno Nell, to our surprise.
The dude was just a beast the entire time.
Just never stopped doing everything that he could and was just outperforming everyone. And you're just like, I don't even know what's really going on. Is this a Matrix glitch?
Right.
It really kind of felt like that.
You did. Because multiple times I was just like, who is this guy?
Because we're just seeing the updates, and I'm like, what the crap is going on? I've seen a picture of Rayno Nell, but he's not been in like any of the massive shows at all.
Well, no, and he's a big dude, but he's not like...
But
I mean, when Halfthor showed up to his first show, everyone was like,
you see people like Tom Stoltman and Halfthor, and you're like,
and
this is something different. But Rayno, he looks like a strongman, obviously, but he looks like your average strongman almost.
Well, and he's not like,
he's anything but average, though. I tell you that by this performance, he's truly anything. I'm not gonna say
he's average, but he's like he doesn't immediately evoke that guy is
gonna be a problem.
At least to like the top couple guys, but he totally is. I mean, the dude is
6'3", like, 326. He's 30 years old.
He's a big dude, but like 6'3" in this world is. I mean, Brian Shaw is like 6.
So these are his events,
8 maybe.
Right? If you're 6'8", we're gonna notice you. He hasn't done an event this year. This was his first event of the year, first comp of the year.
I think we only first saw him in 2023, and that was the.
But it seems like he's just been performing in African and Russian shows, which makes sense because that's where he's from.
But he's been destroying them.
Yeah.
And this was, I think,
first in every single one but one.
One of the well, it was just a chance at the Worlds, and it makes sense.
Right.
Because he fucking won it.
Your first appearance at World's Strongest Man, and you win it by like domination. And so obviously his performance in the final days, I mean, he just smashed everything.
I mean, we could record the entire thing about him. I mean, he like every moment he had to break through and perform, he did.
Yes.
He didn't make some of the mistakes that some other athletes made. Like, I mean, I'm not going to get into Mitch right away, but he did make some mistakes that like we're not necessarily used to seeing him make.
Right. Maybe something's going on. And Rayno is also just like really. He just is really cool. He has an awesome,
good guy.
He's a decent dude.
Decent human being.
He has a great mustache.
Oh yeah,
he shows up. I mean, we talk about Mitch when it comes to consistency. I mean, you could not have had a more consistent weekend to show up at the biggest event of your career.
Yeah.
The guy works a 40-hour job still, apparently. It's not even his full-time thing.
It's hard to make a living.
But I mean, if we're talking about the top runners, they're not working jobs.
No, and this might be his entrance into this world. But
yeah.
I mean, the world of not having like promotion and stuff. But
we also need to talk real quick. So Rayno takes first. We need to talk about. We'll get into it a little bit. Mitch just kind of falling in places that he probably shouldn't have fell, and figuratively, not an actual fall. And we need to talk about Tom's resurgence on that final day where he got like 7 points in 2 events or something and surged all the way back to only lose by half a point to Rayno Nell.
Yeah.
Which is seriously incredible because, what did he get?
Well, they were tied going into the second event. I mean, they were neck and neck the entire, for most of the finals.
Yeah.
And being tied, that's kind of wild. Tom was obviously pushing through and doing real well. He beat Mitch on a bunch of things by a few seconds. Even things in the qualifiers where it doesn't effectively matter that he beat him in those things because he's not in the same group.
But he was.
But he still beat his numbers.
Yes.
And I thought that was excellent. And then
which mentally and morale wise. Definitely, I'm sure Tom was into. I'm sure he, I don't know if he's that type of guy who's focusing on everybody else, but in a race like last year,
he seems like a good dude.
I couldn't tell you. He's just a good dude. That's all I know. Okay. In the end, he's at least a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom got literally first and second on, on 3 events of the final 5, and inevitably Hercules Hold was probably his downfall. But you could have never said that it was.
Yeah,
you didn't. Well, you couldn't really know necessarily that was going to be the thing. But I mean,
in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
The other thing was going into towards the end. Not only were they neck and neck, but going into the last couple events, there was a chance that Mitch could still win.
I know.
There was a path where if he just
think he had to beat Tom in stones or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it is, but like he's had a chance,
Right?
And what I think that like the butterfly effect of that.
Whoa, Ben, whoa.
You ever seen that movie?
Well, you're Ashton Kutchering it right
yeah,
now.
I know. Kutcher. And like that forced Tom and obviously Rayno to like, all right, we can't just like nobody didn't do the last event is what I'm trying to say. Like nobody put one stone up and then walked away.
Right.
Not that anyone would do that.
Right. That'd be sick.
That'd be
what a finish that would be.
I mean, I don't know. I would judge you
if the fifth stone, like they just tucked under their arm and ran off with it, just like it was nothing. That'd be insanity. Into the ocean and just swims away with it.
Peace. Or if it was like power stairs and they put one on the first stair and then walked away.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. You know what I do like to see though? That physical point, them getting their points from day 1 and 2 is an interesting thing that you can see on the stat column now. So yeah, obviously Mitch was going into the finals in first place, Rayno in second, Tom in second, Rayno in third. I apologize, but yeah, Rayno was down 6.5 points and then just got third place, first place, second place.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the things I do feel like though is that I like this whole everything counts thing.
Yes, I do.
I do feel like to a degree it still kind of matters who's in your group.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean it's still because it's like, well, it still does.
Yeah.
And so like it doesn't completely remove the pressure on the grouping system, which is always kind of a little bit of been up in the air as far as Worlds is concerned, like like different countries and different like tiers or like seeds and stuff. But but I do feel like this list would I'm saying normal thing, but like it would be different if their groups were a little different.
Yeah, I agree. I think but that's why they try to split it up as well as they possibly can, because that you can't have obviously 1 and 2 in the same group. But with Rayno being in one of those groups, that's an interesting thing, right? Yeah. It's like you have no freaking idea that that's going to happen.
No, and this was of all the years, this was pretty ripe for it because with Mitch's like previous wins, it made things really complicated to try and find like 1 seeds for each group and stuff. And so it kind of left a door open for some guys who are like, okay, well, perform and you'll be all right.
Yeah, I wish we could have like seen like their seat, like the actual seating of the group technically, because I'm curious where they would have put Rayno in his group.
I don't think they'll ever tell us that.
No.
I think we've wanted to know that for a long time.
I mean, that's Wizard of Oz shit. They'll never pull the curtain away for that.
Do any other competitions do that or show you those?
Not really, because not many of them have the like qualifying final group system.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I don't know how OSG does it. That might be but they have a ton of groups, but I don't know. I think it's like it makes sense the way that they do it, which is essentially like a seeding system, and then when they try to include people from multiple countries in the group. Yeah. And so it's essentially like putting a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and try and roll like mix up countries. It still is World's Strongest Man,
right?
Like you have an entire group from Great Britain or something. It's a little weird, but
no, I think we should
invade your country.
Exactly, steal your, we come and take your tea or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think I will give them their flowers. I think the point system that they did this year, the way all those rounds this is exactly the way you should keep it.
Yeah,
I think it's humongous.
I'm hoping this starts kind of a domino effect. Aren't the effects tonight? A domino effect that spreads to other competitions where this is still a thing. Because I mean, OSG is already doing it, so it doesn't matter. But like, it matters. It makes things matter. I've said that 1,000 times. Okay,
everything matters, dude.
Well, not everything.
No.
Lots of stuff do, but
most of it though.
Does.
Rayno Nell, congratulations.
Yeah, amazing.
World's Strongest Man. I mean, freaking insane.
Tom, that means a lot coming from us.
Right. I'm a strong casual, dude. Okay? Tom Stoltman, incredible jobs. The most consistent World's Strongest Man, specifically World's Strongest Man performer.
He always shows up for Worlds. I mean, I've heard not from him, I don't know if he said it, but like from multiple people, Patty,
that he's a good guy?
He's just a good guy. No, Pyle Dwyer was talking about the fact that like he just shows up. Like Worlds is everything.
It's Tom's everything.
And so like maybe we didn't see him compete in the Arnolds the way we wanted to, but he showed up. I mean, there was no whatever. And now we got somebody else that's stuck in their head.
Mitchell Hooper had a decent first 2 days, but definitely fell apart in some things that you would typically think that the guy would be just crushing at.
Yeah, I mean, he like
scroll down to Mitchell's
he himself. I guess of the things that he himself pointed out, which whatever. I mean, some of his lockouts on the overhead medley, or one of his lockouts notably, was a little slow, and so legitimately, when we're talking about seconds between him and Tom, that mattered.
Yeah,
because Tom beat him on those, and I'm just saying not like group wise, it didn't matter. But
yeah,
like,
Mitch still destroyed his group. But
yeah, well, I mean,
no, he didn't.
No, Patty was there 2 points.
But also, Patty was very good over the weekend. We should give Patty his flowers because he was incredible.
Should we give Sean flowers?
I was going to say I don't want to give Patty his Shane flowers, but
but I mean, he did. I screwed up. I mean, his Titans toss that didn't go great.
No. But other than that, and like I said, that deadlift thing where 4 people in his own group got 7 reps on the overhead and the deadlift. So that kind of just threw his whole thing for a loop, I think. That was the only part where you're like, once again, I think I don't know if everybody's just walking in thinking, I think way more people got 7 reps than everybody else thought was going to get 7 reps because there was a lot of them. And then, so you just split 2.5 points with everybody in your group. And that really, I mean, once again, in the grand scheme, it didn't really drop him anything in his group because he just smashed overhead, smashed stone medley. Once again, that Titans toss, was this for distance? Why did I see them practicing for distance, or was it straight up still?
It's like over the head. But like, I think that those little mistakes are things that he happened to kind of, I don't know.
He doesn't usually deal with them.
Not deal with, and then he did. And it was like, well, like, I mean, I don't know. It was...
it's like one of those like, oh, you are mortal. You can like do the like, and maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's because of becoming just
a human.
Yeah.
But I don't want to humanize him.
Well, you don't want to dehumanize the guy.
I mean, like, I don't know. This whole okay. I don't know if we have to do a full recap of the situation with Mitchell Hooper. And I like how this is like, this was a Mitchell Hooper podcast for months because of all his wins. And now it's just becoming that because we're just complaining about him.
I'm just going to just rebrand as the Mitchell Hooper era. The podcast is going to be called the Mitchell Hooper era.
Or yeah, the Hooper. Okay.
Are you vomiting?
I mean, so like he, of course, made his comment, gave out some commentary about Luke when he was unfaithful, and then turned around and did the same thing to his pregnant wife with his wife's best friend.
Right.
And that's obviously not cool. And he's getting a lot of flack for that. He clearly has maybe more significantly dove into the anabolics. I mean, physically, it's relatively clear that he's doing that. I'm not saying like
are you screening him?
You can blame I'm not saying that like you can turn around and blame it on steroids, but I think that it's part of the conversation because I mean you get horned up on whatever it is, and you're probably more prone to be unfaithful.
What?
Yeah, I know, testosterone, man. But that doesn't make it okay. And I think that what makes the two things. One, I think that some people, I think, make an unfair comparison because if you look online, there's all these people who are like, Big Z never did this, Brian Shaw never did this, and they're like, these guys are the guys, capital T's and whatever. And part of me is like, okay, that's true. They were also in their prime in a time where not everybody had one of these.
Yeah.
And not everybody's every minute was posted on the internet.
Could you imagine if there was like an article that came out, Big Z cheats on his wife in like the late 90s? You're like, what in God's name?
Well, the thing is, I legitimately think that Big Z probably wouldn't do that. Like, I don't know.
One, it doesn't seem like he
would.
Yeah, and two, 99 was also just a different mentality. I think there was just
people would be like, it was still
okay,
yeah,
that's the like dude behavior back. Whatever.
Well, I think it was still like in that time, it was still like very much sideshow. It still is, but like it was very much sideshow. So it wasn't like, it's like no one's taking that seriously enough to dive into the home life of these people.
The events were so exciting. I didn't care about who that person was outside of World's Strongest Man.
Yeah. And I mean, well, even if you go all the way back, like there were some guys at the very beginning who were like cocky assholes.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they slept around. Like, we don't know. But I do think this is probably a product of the fact that like, yes, we know everything about these guys' lives.
Yeah. You're under a microscope, and whatever choice you make, regardless if it's, about your family or, about if it's for the people, it's like, it's going to be around the people. We're listening and seeing everything.
Right. And that's kind of the deal.
It is.
It's like, and like this, the part that bothers me, which is not necessarily the whole like, well, like look at back in the good old days when that does bother me.
Oh,
but what like I don't completely agree with the whole like good old days. Those guys were fine and pure and whatever. Like they screwed up too. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but you can find some drama of Brian Shaw back in the day. Like, I mean, all you need to do is do some quick searches about who he's married to and who she was married to. I mean, like it doesn't take long to find that there.
And there is that stuff going on.
And there was some drama there, right? But it's kind of said and done, and it wasn't like adultery. Like it wasn't this.
Yeah.
And if you look at his career from like, like the mid 2000s on, nothing but competition. And yeah, obviously it's a freaking competition. Like you're going to like say some things that aren't that great, or you're going to like win in a way that somebody's
not going to like.
Yeah. And whatever. But there's a difference between literally founding your entire like brand on being kind, and then and posting these things and projecting this idea that you're the family man and you care about your wife and your kids.
It's so synonymous with Luke. Like it's like they almost carry themselves the same way.
Yeah, no, it was the same deal, because I think that like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, you're just a big, strong teddy bear of a guy, and you love your family and be good and leave a legacy.
It's so fun. Like both fresh off children.
Yeah, exactly.
Both fresh off new babies, and you're just like, yeah.
and then I don't at all support the people who are like, well, he made a mistake, man.
Right.
Like, dude.
Yeah.
Going 65 in a 45 is a mistake.
Right.
Like, sleeping around on your wife is like, that's
now. See, and I don't. Did he say that he slept around, or he's explicit text messages were sent, or was he sleeping around? I'm not really sure. Do we have the tea?
Mitch?
Yeah. He slept with her for sure.
I mean,
I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
He was going 69 in that.
That's what I literally thought. I thought you were gonna make a 69 joke. I was like, you knew that he's 69 with his best friend's wife. Whatever, it's
okay.
juice.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Even if so
whatever, he was unfaithful.
From the sounds that he was unfaithful, sending out explicit text messages I don't care if it's a failing marriage, it's still a marriage. Whatever it is, whatever is going on, it's like it's still probably not the right thing to do these things while you are in the throes of whatever's going on.
Yeah,
everybody's relationship is hard. Everybody's.
Yeah,
it's why love is hard.
And again, I think that like I would have a bit more empathy for someone who did not put themselves on a soapbox all the frickin' time. It's like I'm not gonna choose anybody, but like you see like an average Joe on like nothing about him, they're whatever, and then you're like, oh, this guy was like unfaithful to his wife, and you're like, well,
right,
okay, like that sucks, that's a mistake, don't do that,
right.
But then you have somebody who's like sainting themselves.
Yeah.
And being and then to go online and be like, well, I never said I was perfect. Like, dude, your brand is lift heavy, be kind.
Right. And it's bigger than just me. And I'm like, I know, but the company is you, and the whole thing is from you.
Or like, do what I say and not what I do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about what his parenting techniques will be like. But like it doesn't. It's not. You can't just. I don't know. You can't do that, man.
I know.
And I know.
Please.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like you're so when you put yourself out there like that. There's stupid idiots on the internet with microphones, just like us. We may be a few of those idiots, but you will be patronized for a little bit because public speaking kind of rips sometimes, and being able to talk the truth and just be honest about the people that you try to care about at least what's going on in the guy's life. You're like you already get a shitty smell from the guy before this stuff happens. So when it happens and then you don't practice what you preach. Well, here we are. There's two idiots upset that you're being, a problem. You're being an adulterer. You have a family. It just you don't put yourself out there like that and expect nothing. If and we're obviously nobody's a perfect person, but don't. It's just it's the whole soapbox thing.
Well, and I think you hit on another big part was that like there's a lot of people, at least like. As Powdar would call them maggots. But there's a lot of people on the internet who are like, yeah, I always got kind of weird vibes from that guy.
Right.
and I'm not saying that that's okay. Some people just straight out called him out as a narcissist.
Right.
I'm not, he might get there someday.
Yeah.
But I struggle with this idea that I'm just supposed to be like, yep, like he's human.
It happens, dude. You're
like, no, dude. It's like, think about anybody else who's in some, like, who has at least presented themselves in like a way that's like, I'm a family man. I'm a good guy. I'm just here to like lift stuff and whatever.
Right. And
then you're like, no, you're not. You're here to like pump a ton of anabolics and send dick pics and do whatever with somebody. Like,
well, that's the thing. Even if you weren't the family guy, I'm not a huge fan of dudes who cheat. I'm not.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But I'm just putting it out this way. At the same time, it's like, even if I'll be pissed off if, the Joker cheats on Harley Quinn. They're bad people, but it's still a douchebag move.
I agree.
A piece of shit move to cheat on your lover if you claim that you love them.
Yeah.
You can't talk about wanting 4 tickets for your family when you're trying to eliminate yourself from that family.
Right. And I mean, like, having kids, like, I
need a +1 and a +1 and another +1.
Can we have them on opposite sides as well? Like, having kids, everybody's focused on Mitch being a whatever. All I can think about is that poor kid.
Yeah.
Because, like, all I think about, like, basically, literally all I think about every day is kids. My own kids. And then when you look at things different, you're like, that kid... That's where that kid's coming into, and it's gonna suck. But where was I gonna go?
Child support.
Yes, he's gonna have to pay it,
and hopefully,
I don't know how that works in Canada.
Hopefully, Mitch's wife gets a
do you pay it in
fat
syrup?
lump?
Do you pay it in syrup or something?
In maple trees.
Oh, the trees. It's an investment over time.
Yeah, seeds.
It's not. Oh, damn, that's a real investment.
I'm talking 100, 200 year investment.
Yeah, someday you will get gallons of syrup out of this after boiling down hundreds of gallons. No, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of just done with it, to be honest. I don't care. Like, this sounds bad, and maybe this could be like a whatever, but like, I'm so happy he lost.
It's like if especially after,
I think it's
like,
good for the sport.
You didn't literally, like, we didn't talk about the thing until, like, I knew pre the show, or pre the Strongman show, but it's just like, I don't, like, he should have just turned heel real hard, like, when he knew all that stuff was going down, just like, you know what? Fuck the haters. I don't care about any of you. I'm just here to come in, lift weights, fuck shit up, walk out with that money, because that's what I do.
Turn into Devin.
Yes.
Lift heavy, fuck bitches.
Lift heavy, cheat well. It's like you can just, like, you just, embrace
lift heavy,
this.
Get caught.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like, oh no, what was it? Somebody said something. Lift heavy, bang Kate is what it is. Somebody said on Reddit, and I was like, oh my god, that's not okay. Yeah, you can't. It's still LHBK, but it's like you don't want
to rebrand,
right? You don't want to rebrand. You can stick with it. Yeah, it's just you're gonna get shit for it because it's a piece of shit move. And then when you're kind of just, when casuals like us think that you are kind of sloughing off strongman as if it's a side gig for you.
Which he all but said in that video.
While you're fucking people up. It's just annoying.
Literally.
It's literally you're fucking people up sexually and at comps. And it's, it wears on us.
And
when this stuff happens, you're like, ho.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, baby. The downfall of man.
If you're down with that, whatever.
Yeah.
But the part that the cherry on top of all this is that he got to make a video that's essentially like, guys, I got third because I made some mistakes because I wasn't focused.
It's like, I had a lot of things.
It's like, dude, your face is about to explode because you've got so many anabolics running through your system.
Meanwhile, there's a fucking World's Strongest Man trophy just pressed up against his cheek, and it's like,
well, it's like I perform all the time, and I wasn't as consistent as possible because I was thinking about what I did.
He's just, it's just
like.
Dude, I had other stuff on my mind.
It gave him this silver plattered excuse to get third.
Especially after you already had presented that statement about the situation. It's like, you've already put it out. Why aren't you just being upfront with everybody? Like, once again, everybody loves honesty. I don't care if you're a bad dude or, for the most part, honesty will win over people. If you're just honest in any kind of way, whether you're a scumbag or not, just talk.
Yeah, but I also don't think we owe him anything
for
being like, he came out about it and talked. Like, screw that, dude. Like, be honest for once in your life.
Right.
Like, I don't, and that's, I agree that's honesty. What I think happened here is that, like, he's trying to create this personality or this, like, being an influencer, right? And here's like, I'm building this as a person, as like Mitch Hooper, not the athlete, but Mitch Hooper, the Instagram, Facebook, yada, yada, yada individual, this like whatever it is. And then there's also the athlete.
Yeah.
And like what it seems to me is that he's like, especially in his recap video, he was just like, this isn't really my focus right now. And
that was what he said, yeah.
So he like takes the entire reason why anybody knows his name.
Yeah.
Like the only reason that he's had the success that he's had, which is being a good strongman.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm going to remove that part and just focus on I'm a person and I made a mistake.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't get to do that.
No.
Like you don't get to be like, to imagine that this like illusion of a person you've created on social media as being this family man, yada, 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 and then like cheat on your wife, effectively mess up your kid's life. Well, okay, there are a lot of people in broken houses that are fine. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying like make it harder for everybody you hurt.
Right.
And then turn around and be like, well, I just wasn't that focused.
Yeah.
It's like, well, of course you weren't, because
you just can't say it when we know like you said, Don't present this video to us when we already know you're going through a divorce and you cheated on your wife. Yeah. We know what else is on your mind. You don't have to speak to it. You don't have to, but it's just say, hey, as you all know, there is other stuff in my life I'm dealing with. That's not necessarily an excuse because I'm still, it's like, so he's not getting his reps in. I just don't think Mitch is insanely consistent. All while putting out his videos. It's like you are still constantly going at it, and I get it. We've seen it with Tom, mental health stuff and just other things being on your mind at the time definitely affects performance, and I understand that. But that's
sure.
But it's just not.
I don't think anybody's doubting that.
No,
I think it's just that like we don't need to like.
Well, he's presenting it as something that it's like kind of not.
Yeah,
it's like we know that it was your performance, but also his performance didn't necessarily waver that much.
Yeah, I mean he's still placed in the top 3 of worlds.
Right.
It's not like it's not like he took last.
No,
or some shit.
And he smashed day 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I mean and that's cool and all and whatever. The one thing that does, sorry, I don't mean to change the subject, but like the one thing that also is kind of getting me is that like he said in that video, he's like, you don't judge a man by his best day, you judge him by his worst day. And buddy, we're doing it.
Is that now?
Like, I mean, I don't know if you're trying to garner some sort of like sympathy to be like, oh, like I made a boo boo, like, and be like, well, like, no, like we're judging you, man, and it's like it sucks that we have to do this because you fucked up,
right?
And I know, like, I know those in glass houses. My house isn't glass, but there's windows in it. I'm like, there's a difference between like, you don't expect me to be perfect. Like, what? Yeah. You, like being faithful to your partner?
Yeah.
That's like,
no, that's,
I mean, it's whatever.
That's the bare min of the relationship.
Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Basically.
Put it away.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Unless they hate you to death, but you just kind of got to just not do that part.
Yeah.
Don't do the adultery part. That's probably not going to go well.
Well, or like have a conversation before that, like if things are bad, maybe. Because like this would be a totally different conversation if he was just like, well, we're getting a divorce.
Right.
And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like literally it would have been like one video.
Yes.
And then it would have been done.
And that, you're not presenting it in a bad way. It's just very honest. And that happens to plenty of relationships.
Yeah.
But now when it goes down a little bit ugly, everybody's going to see it and we're going to judge it.
It's what I tell all my students on exam day. I'm like, listen, like you are better off just tanking this test and figuring out what's going to happen than cheating on it. Yeah. Because if I catch you cheating, it's a way bigger deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just take the test. Like it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay to suck.
We've all, Well, it is.
It is.
I would rather you do that than like attempt to do it.
It's kind of better to suck at it and then figure out like where you could get better. I mean, if you don't care, period, about anything, that's one thing. But it's like,
if you're a nihilist,
right? But it's
nothing.
Cheating is, you don't really get too much out of cheating. There's very few examples where like educational cheating has maybe got somebody someplace that they can skate through for the rest of their life. But that's a 1 in a billion. It's just not the chosen move.
They provided like the socioeconomic world. They probably would have done that anyway.
You know what Mitch did put out? A video about, can the world's strongest man be an arm wrestler? And I think I didn't watch all of it, but he did a video on Levon, or about Levon, I believe, and other arm wrestlers.
Well, it was about arm wrestlers being strong men.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like. I mean, I think we're seeing. I mean, we probably created this
the crossover
melding of the world.
Yes.
So I think we are owed something.
Absolutely.
Like $3 million?
A place on the Mount Rushmore, at least.
I would think so.
Of strong casuals. I can fit our fat faces on.
I can like 3D print 3 of our faces, and we'll go up and
that'd be
super glue it to one of their foreheads.
But yeah, no, that's. Did you watch the video?
No, not in its entirety. I mean, I think it's essentially like we've had this conversation a lot because of like Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall and guys, and I think that like it's the same conclusion that everybody comes to, which is like, these are strong people.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being a powerlifter or being a strongman or being an arm wrestler. Like it's a specific skill.
Yes.
And there's no doubt that these people are strong. It's how can they adapt, or how can they change training, or how can they be in a place where they're successful in a totally different realm.
Yes.
And I think it's like the inverse of Brian Shaw going to arm wrestling.
Right.
Dude's freaking strong.
Yeah.
It still means he needs to learn how to arm wrestle.
He's still an amateur.
There's no doubt that Levon is strong.
Right.
Dude would be gassed halfway into a medley.
Right.
I mean, he like, I don't.
It'd be a problem.
I think he, obviously some of the stuff would go fine. Like if he's able to use straps on lots of stuff, it's probably good. I mean, believe it or not, arm wrestlers' grips are good, but like they're good.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of like specific strength in like pronators and pronator teres.
Right. Well, that's why like
brachioradiali.
When Leonidas came, when Leonidas came in, he's a bodybuilder, and he got put in his place like a bodybuilder until he started to transition and practice specifically. And somebody like Brian Shaw, who is, once again, he's an amateur, 5 months into the sport, roughly. It's like, he's an amateur, but the man is arguably the most dedicated that you could possibly be, the Eddie Hall style of as dedicated and does the proper stuff as scientifically and as specific as you possibly can be. And will we see Brian Shaw potentially become top 3 of the super heavyweights? I think without a doubt. I don't think it's that far-fetched, especially when you see the longevity in arm wrestling.
I agree.
When it comes with age or anything. I mean, Brian's recovery process, and I mean, he's not injury-prone like whatsoever. I just don't see how that's ever going to go bad. I mean, he just
he's
pulled...
smart about things.
Right. He was just with the high hookers, and he was practicing with Devin.
He has had some pretty serious injuries in the past.
Right. But he's also just, he knows, like, I mean, after all the time in, he's like, he knows what to do and what not to mess up. And specifically with arm wrestling, it's so very obvious what can be messed up and what can't be. And I think only working with the best people in the entire world, basically, that you could work with, besides the Georgians. Like, there's no other people you would want to be with. And, and it's going to be an absolute problem.
Yeah. And I think I agree. I think we could see him in the top 3. I think we'll see him in the top 3 after he's learned to arm wrestle.
Right.
And it's not something where he's like going to be top 3 taking a step in.
Right.
And like I mean, going all the way back to Eric Hussein. If you haven't watched or listened to the Eric Hussein episode, you should go back and listen to it.
Yes.
But even we were talking about this with him months, like a year ago. Whatever. Yeah. And it was like, and he said the same thing.
Just at the start of Brian's like transition, basically.
Yeah. And he said like the same thing. Which was essentially like, yeah, he's strong, but he's got to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think like he will learn how to do it and he'll be good at it. And I think the same thing is probably true for somebody like Levon going into strongman. Like he's a strong dude. He needs to learn how to do the thing. And
he can curl 375, but it's not gonna.
Yeah, but a lot of that's, I mean, I think it's like the first time people start to realize that strength and size are two independent things, not to like go back on the Mitch Hooper train, but like Mitch Hooper and I can't think of his name, and Mike Israetel had like a back and forth on YouTube, which like it probably is fake because most of it is.
Yep.
But it was like Mike Israetel's not going to make you strong because Mike Israetel said, "Well, Mitch Hooper's not going to make you big," and it's okay. Well, one of you is
truly the cringiest argument I've ever.
One of you is a bodybuilder, and one of you is. It's funny because the most people who are watching this are like weak maggots like me, and they're like, listen, you don't need to min max your training at this point. You just need to train. And you shouldn't be like, who cares, dude? Like, get out there and lift some heavy things.
If
you're not going to be like, well, I'm only going to do this many reps because I don't want to sacrifice.
If you go into it, you're like, well, if I'm not going to lift at all unless I look like Mitch Hooper and Mike Israetel, why would I even try that?
Or it's like you're like shopping. Like, well, do I want to look like? Do I want to look like Mike Israetel or do I? It's like,
well,
no,
that's the thing. It's that whole, we've talked about it a billion times. Well, I don't want to get too big. It's like you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do any of that. If you just want to stay in shape in any way, I mean, it's not even necessarily gonna. People just think like lifting weights is either gonna get them jacked to the gills or make their heart beat 700 reps less. Like it's like this is gonna make them the healthiest person in the world. It's like, no, you probably should just want to do it. If you don't want to do it, probably shouldn't necessarily do it.
If you want to be healthy, just like eat normal food and walk more.
Yes,
but the point I was trying to make here is that like. What is the point I was trying to make? Oh, the point I was trying to make is that there's like for people outside of this world, which let's be honest, most of the people watching things like Worlds, like a lot of them are going to watch it when it comes out and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
The difference between size and strength is not a commonly known thing. Mm-hmm. And so you get people that look at somebody like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Well, most like IFBB pros, they're big ass dudes. And I can now say that what's his name is a pro because he got his pro card. I can't. Who's the kid that everybody talks about on YouTube's?
Sam.
Yeah, Sam Sulek. Who's now
an IFBB pro is a power lifter,
a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Okay, just want to clarify that to the lay people.
Yeah,
BBL
like
pros.
Me.
BBL pros.
No,
BBW.
Whoa. They're in a different competition. But the point I'm making is like there's no one doubting that Sam Sulek is strong. But if Sam Sulek went into a IPF international powerlifting meet, he would get beat.
Yes.
In his like weight class because it's just a different. It's like strength and size are different, and like the specifics of it. Like look at Ode Haugen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a strong dude, but. Like you would never think that dude can like Saxon lift, like his grip is like claws on a
even
hydraulic lift.
Pablo. That when that guy walks around, you would think he's more probably an IFBB pro, but he's he takes his clothes off. He actually is shredded to pieces. He is pretty shredded, but he definitely looks more like a strong man. But you wouldn't even think anything that he's doing he could do.
Yeah,
that's one where it's that strength and size thing does not.
Well, yeah, just watch any, like, no one watches powerlifting, which is fine. I'm not saying people should watch powerlifting, but, like,
Don't watch powerlifting.
Well, I mean, you can watch powerlifting. But if watch, like, any, like, IPF meet, and, like, or, like, a USAPL meet, like, that's, like, above regionals.
Yeah.
And like the world meets and stuff, like, and those, like, you would see those people walking down and be like, man, maybe he's kind of strong.
Right.
And then the dude, like,
right,
deadlifts 800 pounds.
Well, it's like, and that's the, people don't watch powerlifting meets. Everybody watches lifts. Everybody, I mean, if you're into it in the kind of, everybody watches, you know, all caps, insane, you know, 900-pound squat, you know, something where you're like, yeah, I'm watching that. And then you go to the video and there's 1,500 rubber bands. The guy's vacuum packed into some seal a meal. You're like, I don't even know what this is, but it looks kind of exciting.
Yeah.
And that's just not what's always going on at powerlifting meets. When it, you know, when the Dallas Cowboy will, you know, does like a 600-pound squat and he's 245 pounds and the whole football team's around him. Yeah, that's fucking exciting. Okay. But that's just, it's not what, and I think some powerlifting leagues are trying to, you know, put it out a more polished, more exciting product because that is like the stigma with all powerlifting meets.
Yeah, but I mean, they're clean. I mean, they run, they're run well and they're clean. But like the thing is that like
we don't want clean.
The thing is that they're not a sideshow. They're not like and that's okay. I don't think we need to add flair and glitz and glamour to powerlift. Like just leave it. It's fine. Like
I mean, sequins wouldn't hurt it.
That's true. I mean, but it's a relatively, when you think about sports, it's a very new. I mean, the idea of lifting things is not new,
right?
But like
people were doing naked for hundreds of thousands of years,
right? I mean, Greeks were doing this way back in the day with leaves on their
ivy leaves
penis.
I mean, that's embarrassing. Ivy leaves?
No, dude, whatever.
Pathetic.
So, but it's not. I think we could leave that. We don't need maybe some sequence, but I think we could just leave that there. My only point is that like arm wrestling and strongman are this kind of like conduit from the people who are already invested in the world of lifting, and they're able to watch someone do that. Where these are in this weird kind of like interesting and cool cusp, which is why we talk about it, because it's on this like middle ground between people who are invested in the sport and people who want a sideshow. And so I think that it makes complete sense that these two worlds are melding,
always colliding,
because it's like, and the same thing with fighting too. I mean, like I do feel like, I mean, I don't really like the kind of just money grab whatever fights, but like I do feel like that's why it also plays that role, because there's a lot of people who like don't know anything about fighting but watch the fight. I mean, I don't know anything about fighting and I still watch fights.
It literally goes back to, I mean, so, like, you know, why people still like, you know, Greco-Roman or even professional wrestling, or why people will watch NASCAR when you don't give a fuck about cars, but you want somebody to smash into a wall, and people are just like,
I mean, I don't understand NASCAR.
Huh?
I mean, I understand the concept of NASCAR. I just personally couldn't sit down and watch that for any amount of time.
To the mid races in some prairie.
Yeah, but that's fun.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking about like,
I know NASCAR's different. There's no dirt spitting.
No, you can't get smacked in the face with mud.
No, but I guess when you see how fast the cars are going, it's supposed to be exciting or something. And then you buy like a $15 drink or something.
I'm not just gonna sit here and poop on NASCAR, but
I watch NASCAR. That's what I'm saying. And now they have POV cams in all the driver cars on HBO Max.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool.
It's actually really cool.
I mean,
sitting inside the car is kind of nutty.
I can appreciate the skill involved.
When you think about, some of them are driving in that car at 250 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They are.
You mean like me and my Chevy Colorado?
It's roughly supposed to be like 95 to like 105 degrees in those cars when they're going.
Dear Lord!
And they're covered in, you know, they have their whole flammable, flappable.
They are wearing firecrackers and gasoline.
Their fire resistant suit. And
all right, I'm watching that.
Right.
Hell yeah, I'll watch that.
I don't know how they go pee or poopy, and then they have they have like a giant Camelback for water. And they're just dying in the car for like 3.5 hours.
I'm 100% sure that's not water. It's just Steel Reserve.
Oh, no, of course. That's pure fuel, baby. Come on.
Watermelon.
We love all of our NASCAR fans.
Corn.
No. I love
wherever this podcast crosses with someone who's watching NASCAR, we appreciate you.
We appreciate the hell out of you, because NASCAR rips. Arm wrestling rips. There's nothing really in the news of arm wrestling, but yeah, no, arm wrestling, strongman, I mean, those worlds are going to be coming together for the rest of it forever, I imagine. So, and who says that you can't transition to one side or the other, whether it's arm wrestling or bodybuilding or strongman or wherever the heck. If you are dedicated as any of those types of, any of those real athletes in any of those sports, there's no reason you couldn't eventually get yourself there.
And I think that, but the eventually is the most
Yes,
important part of
of
that,
course.
because I think that what we need.
You probably should be 20 if you're going to start to try to do any. You know,
yes.
if you're 45 to 55, probably not the smartest move.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that, like, I think it's disrespectful to people within the sport
Right.
to think that somebody who just has this other, who's really good at this other thing, can just step into your sport and win.
Of course.
Like, I think we need to accept. We need to, it's
just
not
gonna-
accept, but like we need to understand that just because someone has this skill in this world does not mean they can just walk in and
Right.
put everybody to rest. Like that's not. If you look at strongman across the board, which you said this 1,000 times, but if you look at strongmen, most of them were not strongmen to begin
Right.
with. I mean, Brian played basketball, Hathor played basketball, Eddie was a swimmer. Like all of these guys, I mean, Mitch was a marathon runner. Like all these people had athletic careers before they were strongmen.
Right.
And something happened. They had to train.
Right.
Like it's not like Hathor. If you look at Hathor's old basketball pictures,
I know.
I mean, like he looks
Light
like
as a feather,
yeah.
stiff as a board, thin.
But like obviously he did not just stop and one day walk in and win worlds.
Right.
Like it takes time to shift those things. And I just think that like if I were in any of these, like if I was at this level in any of these realms, and then someone's just going to be like, well, I'm really good at this thing, and walks in and thinks they're going to own everybody, I'd be pissed.
But I think it's just because they see them at the last moment of that transition. Like when Mitch came into World's Strongest Man. It's like, oh, he was a marathon runner? He's like, yeah, a few years ago. Like the guy's been...
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem if you cut your teeth and train
Right.
and whatever. I'm just saying that like when... Like initially when there was like the Brian Shaw Levant thing was going on, before it even like, and they were just saying, well, yeah, Brian could walk in there and pin him.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he can't.
No.
Like it's a very different
We've seen the best in
thing.
the world just be
like,
squished underneath
it's not,
Levant.
it's not that easy.
I would love to see them pull just right now and just see Brian humbled instantaneously.
I don't think Brian needs to be humbled.
No, I don't think anything's really going to even
that
humble. I
dude
think
is-
already he is being humbled just by arm wrestling in general.
Yeah, and I think he's the kind of guy who just lives kind of humble. I mean, he obviously like has had his ups and downs, made decisions, said things, whatever. But like,
you have to go through all
I
that
do
shit,
feel
I
like
think,
he's
to
a
be in
guy-
his position.
he's a guy who like has a conversation with somebody and listens to them,
Right.
and recognizes that if they are better or if they have more wisdom or knowledge in a specific area, he sits and listens.
Right.
And he doesn't let his ego take over and just be like, whatever, like I know more than you.
Right.
Like he's not that guy. He's just going
No.
to sit there and legitimately listen to it. Like I feel like if he wanted to learn about something I know a lot about, that he would sit and he would listen to me.
I would hope so. No, and I didn't mean I don't want to
Please.
see Brian get humbled. I really just want to see Brian and Levant pull right now just to see how far away it is. That's really what I just want to see.
I think it's pretty far away.
I think it is too, because like I said, Brian is humbled in every video that he's doing. It's just like, I mean, he's pulling Devin pretty regularly, and it's like Devin's cardio is maybe, you know, next compared to anybody. He's just pulling everybody after he pulls Brian like 9 times.
Yeah, dude is just addicted.
There's that
Literally.
I love the people can go back on a old Juji Mufu video of just a straight. They go to a bar for it's like a 1 hour video, and Devin is just pulling every person in that bar in like laps. And Juji at the same time. It's nutty.
That goes way back to like back when Juji and Tom were still together, and they were in the like
you
the barn
miss
or
Juji
whatever.
and Tom so bad.
I don't miss Tom,
Well,
but
some of their videos were good together. I get it.
That was the first one he did with the first one that Devin did with Juji. He let him deadlift, and he suicide gripped the deadlift bar. Like he didn't even put his thumbs around on, and he can't straighten his arms.
Well, his arms were so bad in that
they
video.
still are. Well,
They're supposed to be getting better
com-
with stem cells, but
Dennis's are worse.
I mean, I've never seen him not unflex them ever.
Well, we can't. They're just stuck.
I don't care.
When does that become like
I pay
a king's
15.
move? At what point does like the like inability to move your elbow become a king's move?
I'd pay $15 to be in Chaplinkov's body for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'd take that deal. Would I, especially if I was able to maintain being able to speak Russian?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, this a few episodes ago, we talked about Brandon Shaw.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. And in that we referenced his musculature as being glam muscle.
Right.
I have since been corrected and spent some time with Brandon.
Did you go lift with Brandon?
I did, and he's not just glam muscle.
He's not. He's not.
Dude is strong. So Brandon, I don't know if you're going to listen to this, but we're sorry.
I only say that I've seen Brandon. I know who Brandon is, but I know Brandon will absolutely react to when you tell him when you say he has glam muscles. If you want a response, you get what you give out.
Yeah, we spent the afternoon with fermented liquids, and then just for a good show, he needed to come back into my home gym and deadlift more than me.
Well,
and he did.
Yeah,
and he's strong.
He is a strong man. I know,
and that's okay.
It is okay.
And sorry, Brandon. Mad respect. You're strong.
We know you're strong.
You're not just glam muscles. You could work on your squat though. Just saying. Deadlift's great, bench is great, but you can work on your squat.
That is the Strong Casuals, and
yeah.
By the way, there's a East vs West 18 coming up in Chicago,
yep,
Illinois, and you may just see the Strong Casuals there. May or may not see us there. Repping some Strong Casuals. We'll have nothing for you but a beautiful smile and
maybe a sticker.
Firm handshake.
Yeah, we'll bring some stickers.
We'll have some stickers.
We'll bring some stickers.
Some temporary tattoos. Or
we'll probably wear we might have to get some
tees made.
Tees because it's going to be hot. But, yeah, we might be there to the 6 of you.
Regardless.
might also
regardless,
but, yeah.
Hermes versus Levon Saganashvili in the main event.
Yep.
That's going to be a hell of a match. We got Devin Laird on the card. There's Michael Todd on the card. There's Matt Mask on the card. There's Paul Lynn on the card. Fia Rysick's on the card. Everybody that you want to see is on this card. I'm telling you, everybody who you want to see is on this card.
Get pumped.
Get pumped, get jacked. That's in June. We are the Strong Casuals. We will talk to you in 4 months. And if you are gripping, we are talking.